They asked for transparency, but what they uncovered was a web of corruption so deep, even the truth got scared. What if I told you that the money meant to educate an entire generation was quietly funneled into foreign real estate, yacht parties, and election campaigns? What if I told you children were sent home from school for owing 2,500 naira while someone else was shopping for diamond cufflinks in Dubai? And what if I told you the very leaders who screamed education for all were the same ones burying the funds under layers of deceit? This is not just a story. This is a true event inspired by the darkest corners of Nigeria's education sector where hope was sold for profit. Welcome to The Dark Truth Files of Time Immemorial. This is part 1 of school fees scandal, where the billions really went. It began with a speech. In 2016, the One Child, One Future initiative was announced, a bold project meant to provide free basic education to every Nigerian child. The government allocated 280 billion Nigerian nairas to jumpstart the program. Schools across the country celebrated. Parents called it God's answer. At the helm was Barrister Zakari Jallow, a charismatic figure with a British accent and a spotless reputation. Educated at King's College London, he had served in several international education forums. They called him Mr. Reform. He said the future was now. But Zakari Jallow was not who he appeared to be. The first whisper of trouble came from a low-income school in Kogi State. A headmistress named Mrs. Ngozi Chokuma noticed that, despite government claims of support, her school hadn't received a single kobo. No new books. No renovations. Just empty promises. She filed multiple complaints. She was told to be patient. Then she was told to stop asking questions. Across the country, similar stories began to emerge. Parents were still being forced to pay outrageous fees. School buildings remained crumbling. Teachers were striking from unpaid salaries. Yet, according to public records, the funds had been fully disbursed. So where had the billions gone? The answer came from an unexpected place. A junior data analyst named Musa Danlami. Musa worked quietly at the National Education Financial Bureau, a desk job with little recognition. But as part of an internal audit team, he discovered a disturbing pattern. Transactions from the education fund were being routed through shady entities, companies like New Horizons Academic Ltd. And Global Learning Logistics. Some had no office address. Others were registered in Cyprus. Nearly 78 billion naira had vanished in less than 18 months. And nearly every approval document bore the signature of one man. Zakari Jallow. Musa, terrified of retaliation, sent the information anonymously to one of Nigeria's fiercest investigative journalists, Halima Danlami of The Nation's Eye. Halima had exposed governors, generals, and billionaires. But this was something else. The scale. The silence. The rot. She traveled to neglected schools in Kwara, Anambra, and Borno. She interviewed unpaid teachers and angry parents. She tracked millions of missing funds to a company registered in Mauritius and tied directly to a boutique consulting firm in Ikoyi, whose name was on the company's registration papers. Amina Jallow. Zakari Jallow's wife. When Halima's story broke, the country exploded. Coalition, education heist, billions missing in school reform program. Coalition, Zakari Jallow linked to massive embezzlement scheme. Coalition, one child, one future, or one lie, one scandal. But Zakari Jallow did not hide. He addressed the nation in a crisp suit and calm tone. This is a witch hunt. I have served Nigeria with dignity. And then, Halima began receiving strange calls. Her social media accounts were hacked. She noticed a black SUV tailing her home from work. Behind the scenes, things got worse. Musa Dangana went missing on his way to work. Halima received an anonymous letter. If you value your life, let this story go. Another whistleblower, a procurement officer named Sonny Ibrahim, was found unconscious in his car, an accident, they claimed. But his laptop was gone. Yet Halima pressed forward. The story gained international attention. The UN called for transparency. Parents staged demonstrations. But somehow no one had been arrested. No assets frozen. No public hearing. Why? Because someone higher was shielding Jallow. And it wasn't just one person, it was an entire network. A cabal. Who were these people standing behind Zachary Jallow? What were they protecting? And how could an entire nation's future be sold off so quietly? We thought the scandal ended with stolen money. But what's coming next in part 2 will show us just how deep the betrayal truly goes. Sometimes, the cost of education is paid in silence, blood, and betrayal. Do you think Zachary Jallow was the mastermind, or just a face for a deeper corruption? If you were in Musa's shoes, would you have risked your life to expose the truth? Should Halima stop for her safety or keep going for justice? Drop your answers in the comments. We want to hear from you. Join us in part 2 where the shadows get darker.